Good evening, YouTube model railroader fans. I know it's an off night for me, but hey, you do things when you can. Happens to be Thursday, May the 10th, 2018, and this is vlog number 7 for 2018. It also happens to be part 2 of what I'm now going to call the GP, or I'm sorry, the BL9 GP. There we go. We have a name for the monstrosity. I had quite a few comments on the first vlog, or first part of this, so of course, for those that aren't familiar, on the last vlog, which would have been vlog 6, I went ahead and we're mashing up a BL2 and a GP9. So that's the plan, and I noticed a couple of minor little issues along the way, but that's okay. We can work with this. Not sure how I'm going to work out the one issue, but we will see how things turn out. Because to be honest, it's really not that far off, and it's really not going to be that big of a deal, I don't think. So we're just going to roll with it as it is. Now, before I get into the build, or the continuation, wanted to talk about a couple things. Of course, a couple folks had, well, actually, I'll just start it out this way. Obviously, with doing this build, one of the things I quickly realized was the fact that I was going to need to come up with a way of making the back pocket to this, and obviously these don't line up 100%. You know, the old roof and the new roof don't line up 100%. So I was like, well, I guess I'm not going to be able to utilize it, so I'm going to have to make it myself, which obviously is not that big of a deal. Something I've never done, but not that big of a deal. So what am I rambling about? Well, last Saturday, I had to make a trip to the local landfill to drop off some stuff that I needed to get rid of. So while I was up that way, right around the corner, well, not right around the corner, but down the street a ways, is MB Klein, which most of you out there know is modeltrainstuff.com. One of the things, and there's a big backstory to this, you know, years ago, one of the things that we did before Christmas, my father would always pack me and my two brothers up in the family station wagon, and we would pick up my grandfather, and we would go down to MB Klein when it was down on Gay Street in Baltimore City. That was our thing. Every year, we made a trip to go down there and just kind of browse through what they had. And I was always amazed at the fact that when you walk through the front door of the place, on the left-hand side was this big display of brass locomotives. I mean, they had this huge display of brass locomotives from N scale up to G scale, or actually O scale. And it was awe-inspiring to see all this brass sitting behind this locked counter, or locked display case. But obviously, you know, times change, things go on. The building where they used to be down on Gay Street in Baltimore City is now a parking garage. This is after they had moved, I don't know how long ago it was, out to Timonium, or Cockeysville, as it were. So, you know, I've been in that store maybe 3 times over the last couple of years. Well, I walked in there this time, and their showroom has shrunk again. In fact, even when I went in there a few years ago, there were no display cases of brass locomotives. They don't have that anymore, I don't think. And their display area is about the size of a, I don't know, maybe a 20 by 20 foot room. And it's really tight. So they're really not displaying a whole lot anymore. Something tells me that obviously they're doing a heck of a lot more on their mail order side than what they are on people walking in off the street. So, that kind of stinks. I mean, we've had hobby shops around here that have come and gone. There used to be a couple of them that I dealt with. In fact, all three that I've dealt with over the past 40-some years, or that my family's dealt with over the last 40-some years, the only one that's left now that I know of is MB Klein. Yorktown Hobbies is gone. Citywide Hobby Shop that used to be down on Harford Road is gone. There was a hobby shop that used to be on Blair Road. I forgot what the heck it was called, but it moved from there to Harford Road. Now it's gone. It's now a psychic, some sort of a psychic card tarot, whatever the heck it is. So they're disappearing. And I think part of it is because of the fact that I hate to say it, but I don't think there's that many people that go and visit those places anymore. They'd rather deal with it online, and that's fine. I'm kind of I hate to say this, but I'm one of these people. I need to touch it. I need to see it. I need to see what it's made of. I just can't buy stuff, over the internet. I just can't. I've done it. It's just not. It's not for me, and that's one of the reasons why I go to the train shows. I may not buy anything from the train show, but I go to the train show, that way, if they've got a display up of, what else is out there, I can take a look at it, I can see the box, feel it, and go, is this something that I really want, or is it something that can wait? Instead of going online saying, I need that, and then getting it going, now what the heck am I going to do with it? So, enough with the rant, I guess. It's good that they're still in business. How much longer they're going to have I guess, for lack of a better term, a storefront or a display area, I don't know. It's it's a sign of the times, I guess. It's gotten to that point where people are hitting Amazon and eBay and modeltrainstuff.com or wherever they're going, and that's fine. But for those of us that like to be able to see what it is we're plugging our cold hard cash out for, it stinks. So, anywho, the reason why I went there, back to the build, end of rant, back to the build. The reason why I went there is I needed some sheet styrene. Something I've never bought, something I've never had, something I've never played with. So this ought to be good. You want to talk about a beginner playing with something and he's never touched? Well, keep watching. This could get really interesting real quick. So anyway, this is a variety pack, actually, which I was really intrigued by. There's a couple different styles, or not styles, but a couple different thicknesses of sheet styrene in this thing, and the whole thing was like $4. Hey, I'll take it. And that's another point. But before I get back, before I do that, that was another thing. Walking into a place like MB Klein and only walking out with this was a milestone, because I could get in real trouble in a place like that. I could get in some definite trouble with that. So anyway, we're gonna cut the bag open here and see exactly what it is that Mr. Ray, and of course it would help if he actually cut the bag, what he actually came up with here. Ooh, we've got some really thin stuff, and we're getting thicker. Oh, so it's 3 pieces. I was thinking it was more. Okay. Well, I don't feel so confident in what I did here. Well, obviously, that's way too thin. I have a feeling that this might be a little too thick. This might do the trick. We'll see, as they say. And what the heck do I want to do with it? We'll just stick it right over there. This basement's an absolute disaster right now anyway, so this ain't going to work. It's way too thin. I know, before I go any further, I know I could have gone to Home Depot, bought a for sale sign, and used that. That's fine. I decided that, we're we're going to do it this way. And if it bites me in the butt, it bites me in the butt. What can I say, right? Anyway, let me see if we can get the camera to actually... Oh, look at that. Hey, maybe? Alright, of course now you can't see my ugly mug, which is probably a good thing. Okie dokie. Moving right along. So, I need to make a template. Probably ought to make a template of the interior of the actual piece. That would probably be the smart way to go. Yeah, that would probably be the obvious solution to the issue. Of course, you idiot, you didn't bring down you don't have a pencil down here, do you? Or do I? Oh, look at that, I've got a pencil. A mechanical pencil, nonetheless. Should I do this on the outside or the inside? Probably ought to do this on the outside, and I can always modify it later. Because that's what we do. Hey, look at that, I've got some marks. Alright, I'm going to steal a trick off the good old model railroader Dream Plan Build series here. And I'm going to obviously use a straight edge here. But I'm going to use a pair of scissors to actually cut this out. Oh, cut it out. Well, that's what I'm planning on doing, is cutting it out. The first things first here, though. Alright. Now that we have that, I wonder... Well, I wonder... No, let's not go there. How I can utilize... Of course, it may have helped if I would have brought my glasses down, but that's okay. We're going to do it this way. Actually, we're not going to do it that way. I think what we'll do is we'll cut it out first. And I can figure out where I want to put the windows. And actually, before I go that far, it might be better Sorry for the dead silence here, but I'm concentrating on what I'm doing, and what I'm actually doing here is trying to score the plastic a little bit. Unfortunately, I think my blade might be a little bit worse for wear. So I'm trying to score this. So we can just snap it just like that. Sweetness. Now, I'm going to go ahead and cut down the other side here. I already scored the other Fuji. There we go. We now have a piece that I still can't snap. There we go. Now let's see how well I actually did. I'm really close. Nice. Nice. There we go. Now, of course, there are some other things that I'm going to have to do with this, but at least I've got the plate. Now I can take my other piece here and see if I can make some marks for the windows, because obviously you put a blank plate back there and they're not going to be able to see, the engineer and the brakeman. So I think what we're going to do to make this a little bit easier, and let me get my ruler. Ooh, come here, dang it. Because the windows up here, I'm going to need to be pretty much even with the edge of the roof line. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make a mark across, and then what I'm going to do is come in just a little bit make another mark. Alright. And then, of course, this isn't a scale rule. I'm a little bit too cheap for that. So, looks to be about 5/8. So what we're going to do here is come down. Make another mark on both sides. Now, why does that one look like it's longer than the other one? It's not 5/8. Dummy. You big dummy. Perfect. Now, that seems to be a bit big. Re-engineered. Yeah, that mark was way off. But that one isn't. Okay. Now, of course, what would be really helpful, and of course I don't have anything like that down here, would be a square. Of course, there is a square sitting behind the camera, but that's beside the point. Okay, that'll work. Alright, so what I did is I made some measurements. Of course, we're up to 20 minutes already, but made some measurements. Of course, you can't see it in the camera, but there we go. We've got some windows. So now, what I need to find, and I don't know where I put it, it would be my pin vise. No, that's not it. And that's not it. Alright, dingbat. What did you do with the pin vise? Ooh! Oh, there it is. There's my pin vise. Now, those are way too big. That might work. Another trick of the trade. Actually, I got a small enough blade in here, or a small enough screwdriver in here already. No idea what that was. Somebody had mentioned drilling a hole in the corner to keep your blade of your X-Acto knife from going too far into these corners, which is actually a good thing for this anyways, because the corners of the original windows were round. So, by making these neat little circles in here, we're doing two things. We're making the round edges of the windows. And making it to where our X-Acto knife isn't going to go past them. Now, another trick that I had seen somewhere when you're doing windows or openings, period, is to cut diagonally in the center, or through the center, because it's supposed to make it easier to get the interior out. I probably didn't need to do that because there we go. We have a window. Amazingly, it's about the same size as the window that was originally in there. Well, considering the fact that this is going on for... Turn off my headlights. Considering the fact that this is going on for 27 minutes already, I think I'm going to stop here, and I'll continue to mess with this and make some other modifications, and if I get down here over the next couple of days, and I'll mess with it some more and I'll do some more video. But basically, we're one step closer. And one of the things that I was going to mention before too, you notice how the interior of this is obviously hollow, which it has to be able to fit over top the motor. This isn't going to fit the way it's sitting, so I'm going to have to cut out the interior of it yet. But the whole point of this exercise this evening was to get it to where we have the cover on there and we have a window where the engineer or the brakeman can see out the back. So that was the whole exercise this evening. So with that being said, I appreciate all the comments and all the support, obviously. I know I got quite a few comments on, like I said, Vlog 6 when I started this, and of course one person was like, why? I'm not going to mention who. But they were basically like, why? Why not? If you know me by now, why not? I got to be different. I got to have something unique. I have to have something that's me. What's going to be really, really, I think, interesting is when, and of course, while I was up at MB Klein or Model Train stuff, I did notice that they have paint. Obviously, I'm going to need some because I think the paint that I had when I painted the original Boeville and Newtown locomotive, I think that paint's long since done. I don't think there's any bringing that back. I mean, that paint's 20 some odd years old now, so I don't know if it'll be even viable. But this will obviously get painted up in the Boeville and Newtown scheme, some way, shape, or form of that. Not quite sure what it's going to be yet, but we'll see what it turns out to be. One other thing is the fact that I've been wanting to mention this too. I was kind of looking around and doing a little bit of research, and one of the things I found was that a lot of railroads, a lot of the modern railroads, have their locomotives numbered by their horsepower. Now, I was thinking I might do something similar to that, give or take. And it's one of the things that I'm going to have to really sit back and consider with the locomotive roster that I've got. I may end up thinning the herd out here a little bit. Not sure if I'm really want to do that or not, but one of the things is obviously the parent railroad is the Chesapeake and Ohio, or the Chessie system. I've got plenty of those locomotives. Those will stay those colors. But I've always been a fan, and as you know, if you've watched my vlogs and with the motive power that I have sitting here on the shelf next to me, I'm a fan of a lot of the Eastern Seaboard railroads. In the New Haven and the Pennsylvania, the Delaware and Hudson, the Seaboard, so on and so forth. But there's also been others that I was just really fascinated with their paint schemes. The Rock Island, for instance. The Erie Lackawanna, which is an Eastern Seaboard railroad. But, some of the locomotives that I have really aren't East Coast Railroad. Case in point, I have a Burlington. I have a couple others over here that aren't in Eastern Seaboard or Eastern Railroad schemes. And I've been kind of kicking around the idea of maybe repainting some of those as well, or even with the RF-16 that I've got sitting over there, the Delaware and Hudson. As much as I love that paint scheme and I love that locomotive, I may end up repainting that one in the Boeville Newtown scheme. Oh my goodness, what am I thinking? But I know it's my railroad, I do what I want. I get it. The purists are probably sitting there going, "You gotta be kidding me." But that's fine. Like I said, there's just certain things I'm going to keep, and others that I'm going to go ahead and I'm probably going to end up repainting them. But the ones that will go over to the Boeville and Newtown, for instance, like the PA1, which right now is number 45, that one there is probably going to get renumbered to maybe like 145 or 142. My thought process, the one being for the model number. So it's a PA1. Okay, well, then the first number is going to be the model number, so it's a 1. And then whatever number I decide to give it after that. And 45 just happened to be one of those things I just pull out of a hat. I may end up making it 42, which is a little bit more meaningful for me because, well, 42 was the ship that I was on. Case in point of this BL9GP, it would be a 9-something. If I decide to do or redo one of the GP38s, it would be a 38-0 or a 3800. It would be in that series. So you kind of get the idea of what I was looking at. But that's down the road. I'm not sure how far I'm going to go with it. It really depends really on what happens with the railroad as a whole. But I've rambled long enough. It's a good ruler. Anyway, so we're going to end it here. So this is the end of part 2. Obviously, there'll be a part 3, probably a part 4. Who knows how many parts there's going to be to this thing, but right now it's in 4 parts. So you all know the deal. Wait for the highball. Green tracks ahead. We'll catch you next time. God bless. Be safe. See ya.